back to the testing version of Admin House, where we also have audit logs too. But Admin House testing versions don't have like a specified time limit, because if you get gifted tester pass, that's what we're seeing before during the HSL update. During the HSL update, everyone got like, I think I got like gifted HSL game, like not HSL game passes, but tester game passes during the HSL update, or Admin House 3.5.4. Anyways, now in Admin House 3.5.11, they finally started to release a little bit more updates to it. We now have names on these blocks now. And unloadable is now ULB, which is the command we're seeing. Because back then, when we did the Admin House 3.5.11 is coming soon, we didn't have that command back then. But now, we do. That's the testing version of 3.5.11. Also, the fun fact that I'm not even trusted in the testing version of Admin House is because I do not have trusted in this testing version of Admin House. I do in the actual game. I do have trusted in the actual game of Admin House. So like if I run pclear right now, it says you need trusted or higher to run this command. So I'm not trusted in the testing version of this Admin House server. But I am trusted in the standard Admin House. Or the non-beta Admin House. Or the stable Admin House. What we don't see is that we also, it says that parts don't bring over to Admin House. And there's also one bug that has the issue. First, we have yellow blocks instead of building tools by F3X. And that's because they imported the Admin House to the testing version. So they just made the same game without copy-pasting stuff. Anyways, I have the autosave build, which is right there in Admin House. And the last time I played the testing version of Admin House was July 18th, 2025 at 8 o'clock. And that was the AHSL update. What I have loaded there is these builds from the testing version of the game. But the testing version, well, doesn't have a save build. Well, it does have a save build, but you can save a build. All you have to do is make the part and just save it to wherever it goes to. Anyways, I should see the asset library in the testing version of Admin House 3.5.11. Which is right there, and this is the same asset library used in the standard version of Admin House. And this Admin House, let's just see the trust list. So the trust list was added in August the 14th, 2024 in Admin House, and the testing version already implemented it. So we can see the trusted users. We have just around 42 trusteds, approximately. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we just have 30 trusteds in the actual game. We just actually have 30. And also, Honoban was introduced in the Admin House 3.5.11 update, which might release in the expected update in just March or April 2026. However, if the release date will release in March or April 2026, or the release date might be delayed between May and June 2026, we might see the update release But it might be just 6 months of development being released to the 3.5.11, because it's nearly half a year. 3.5.11 in the Ammon House beta version was clearly introduced right back in October 2025. Which means we've been waiting for that, I think. Just to make the better version of Ammon House. I think that was probably released in December 2025. Due to my reference. However, back then during the Ammon House 3.5.4 update, they made AHSL not available to public servers at first. But shortly after, just 2 days after, 3.5.4a has been released, and they have enabled AHSL to public servers. However, in October 2025 to December 2025, people kept now abusing with the AHSL. They're now using AHSL audio, but now they found a way to blacklist players for no use using it, making their respawn commands not work. However, that's not been implemented yet. However, we have more in the game change logs that we didn't say in just December 2025. Anyways, let's see. So they did the further improvements and changes into in-game burst support, which is what we're seeing. Because back then the in-game support was like it wasn't filtering like the solved and unsolved stuff. Instead, you're likely just making a ticket and just waiting for the staff to respond. They don't respond at all. But that's what we're going to do there. But the release date is expected to be March to April 2025, 2026, or probably like May to June 2026 if it's been delayed. So we have a lot of them. We have A-logs. We have EPP, or Edit Physical Properties. If we run that command here, it's just going to say Physical Properties Applied. So this means if we entered Edit Physical Properties, it's probably like Edit Physical Properties Index 1. Density, it's going to be 1 to 100,000. Friction is probably anywhere to 1 to 100,000. Elasticity could be 1 to infinity. Friction weight, we could add anything to that, and elasticity rate, which would be the thing. So instead of short things like RC, right there, that's run C, we now have LB, which is load build, which is what we're seeing right there. We have FNO for fly no clip. If we enter that command, it does fly no clip. Terrain part is terrain part, but they should have did TP for terrain part, which might be better because it's really short for that. So we have shuffle, which is what we're seeing. However, we have the new thing. Attempted to fix lag with miniguns and other guns. So they patched it because their 3060 Ti's were reported lag in games, even though they had like highly powerful computers. In the gear library, in what we see here, it just takes a long time. It takes a little bit of time to load. It won't load instantly, but so that's what we did to asset library. So they load first, but if you rejoin, it has to reload again. And that's because memory can't be saved if you leave the game. They update automatically if you rejoin the game. So the gear that we are seeing with attempted lag is minigun. Minigun is the gear that other people use. As you can see, the game's frame rate dropped from an impressive 240 to 130, like 40 to 30 FPS. And that's because they didn't fix that lag for the minigun yet. But if you execute like fast, it won't be the main issue. I just reloaded the gun and it didn't even come up with any ammo. So you have to reload the gun again. It doesn't reload in time to delay. I reloaded it now and it fixed the issue. However, in the gear library, we are going to execute more than 4 miniguns. It looks like they did fix the issue. It seems like they attempted to fix lag right now to the other guns. Which is what we didn't see here in Admin House 3.5.11 beta versions. Unlike 3.5.11, we have the command bar UI, which is used in if you don't have a PC though. Search usually the apostrophe for this key. Now you can just do that and enter the key. And then there's a shortcut where you could just press the options and go to and press the Donis key. That's what we see. We have keybinds, so we could just press like something there, just enter the command. And you can just bind the command as K or E or something like that. However, the UI has been improved again. Because before, in December 2025 in Admin House 3.5.11, there was something different. But now, they implemented stuff here. We have private server invites enabled, hide shop, hide abyss effects, and keybinds. Right over there we have autocomplete and auto batch, which is what the next thing is. And we have blocked images. Block images, that's what we're seeing. Block images from no one. Untrusted users. All except Honored. Everyone. That's what you can do. However, you can show the unimage button to clear all screen images if any image from users in this group are on your screen. And that's what we're seeing. If we say this to everyone, it's just a thing. However, in other, there's nothing. So we're all building this right now on page 5 out of 5. So you might see that March 2025. The game's fully releasing. If the game fully releases, it's a thing. However, the Adonis changelog is hung all the way back to 2020 at 1417 EST. Squashed some bugs. RIP. That's already been the same for just like 4 or 5 years since the game's already been out. For like more than 10 years. If they updated Adonis, then that means they have to like then they're gonna have to really reset like every single command right on there. However, keybinds is a keybind. You could probably make parts and you could probably like edit them. It's kind of really easy to do. But anyways, like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and see you next time in the next Time and House videos.